Zimbabwe versus Malawi. Which country is better? On the 14th of January 2022, Zimbabwe and Malawi will have a tete-a-tete at the group stage of the African Cup of Nations that will be held in Cameroon. These two countries are very powerful in the Southern African region, but before they actually face each other on the football field, let's put each country against each other and see who comes on top. These two countries have some great similarities, but there are some aspects that set them apart. In deciding which country comes first, we have to take into consideration the various factors that make a country better than another. In the case of Zimbabwe versus Malawi, we shall be looking at the geographical and demographic factors, the economy, cost of living, infrastructure, tourism, and security. Before we find out which country comes first, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up and turn on notifications for future uploads. So without any further delay, let's get started. Geography and demography. Zimbabwe lies entirely over 300 meters above sea level. Its main physical feature is a broad mountain range that runs 400 miles from southwest to northeast across the entire country. Zimbabwe has a warm temperature throughout the year, but the weather is hot and humid in the summer. Zimbabwe has a total population of about 15 million people, and about 98% of the population is of African descent, with the majority being Shona and Ndebele people. On the other hand, Malawi is a hilly and mountainous country located south of the equator. It has a hot and rainy season from November to April and a somewhat cold, dry winter season. Malawi has a population of about 19.7 million people and is made up of numerous ethnic groups. Temperatures are higher when nearing the rainy season, which lasts from September through November. When it comes to climate, both countries have almost similar climate. Economy. Let's take a look at the economy and see which country has the upper hand. Zimbabwe's economy is primarily based on its tertiary industry, which accounts for up to 60% of total GDP. According to Trading Economics Global Macro Models and Analyst Forecast, Zimbabwe's GDP is expected to reach $23 billion by the end of 2021. Zimbabwe's economy is heavily dependent on the mining and agricultural industries, while lower mineral prices, infrastructure and regulatory limitations, a bad investment climate, and a massive public and external debt burden, and extremely high government wage expenses all hinder the country's economic growth. In the case of Malawi, it ranks among the world's least developed countries. The country's economic performance has historically been limited by policy inconsistency, macroeconomic instability, poor infrastructure, rampant corruption, high population growth, and poor health and education outcomes that limit labor productivity. With roughly 80% of the population living in the rural areas, the economy is mainly agricultural, accounting for around one-third of the country's GDP and 80% of exports revenues. Malawi's economy, which is highly dependent on rain-fed agriculture, with maize as its major crop, was impacted badly by the El Nino-driven drought in 2015 and 2016, and is now threatened by the autumn armyworm. Looking at the economies of both countries, it is safe to say they all need a touch of growth, considering the fact that they are both found at the bottom of the list of underdeveloped countries in Africa. However, Zimbabwe has a much stronger economy than Malawi. Cost of living. When it comes to choosing a country over another, many people evaluate the cost of living or the style of living. The first issue with Zimbabwe appears to be the fact that despite its poverty, everything else seems to be pricey. The cost of living in Zimbabwe is so high that most people rely heavily on imports. As a result, most businesses take advantage of this and demand ridiculous prices. Food is the most expensive item in the country, accounting for almost 40% of total income. In summary, Zimbabwe is certainly one of the world's poorest countries, with 1 out of every 2 people living in abject poverty. Malawi appears to be in a similar situation with Zimbabwe in terms of living conditions, as residents continue to complain about the rapid rise in the cost of living. Malawi has the world's 4th highest percentage of people living in extreme abject poverty. More than 2/3 of Malawi's population live in extreme poverty, with practically all of them relying on small-scale farming as a source of income. Malawi's economy is highly dependent on tobacco, which accounts for 69.5% of the country's total exports, a situation that is becoming increasingly troublesome for Malawian households as global tobacco demand declines. Food prices are also a cause of concern, as they rise due to transportation costs, and the majority of food items sold in Malawian grocery stores are imported from South Africa and Zambia. For this round, Zimbabwe definitely has a better standard of living than Malawi because it has way a higher GDP per capita than Malawi. Infrastructure. The quantity and quality of a country's infrastructure have a significant impact on its medium and long-term economic growth. It is frequently referred to as the wheels of economic activity because it creates an environment conducive to productive activities and facilitates growth. Zimbabwe made significant progress in strides in infrastructure in its early period as an independent state, building a national electricity network with regional interconnections, an extensive and internationally connected road network, and a water and sewer system. However, since the late 90s, when the country was engulfed in economic and political conflict, the country has been unable to maintain its existing infrastructure. Zimbabwe is currently confronted with a number of significant infrastructure challenges, the most pressing of which are in the power and water sectors, where deteriorating conditions threaten the economy and public health. Zimbabwe spends about $0.8 billion per year on infrastructure, but $0.7 billion is lost due to its various inefficiencies. When it comes to infrastructure, Malawi's infrastructure requires immediate attention. Malawi's transportation infrastructure includes substandard roads, underdeveloped transport and rail connectivity, limited air links, and limited access to ports. The rail system is totally inadequate and requires a major improvement in order to achieve any type of competitiveness in manufacturing. Transportation costs must be lowered as well, as domestic road infrastructure is critical for supporting and enhancing efficiencies in vital economic sectors, including agricultural and allied services. So when it comes to infrastructure, both countries are still lacking behind, but then if we were to choose, then Zimbabwe will win this round. Tourism. After tobacco and tea, tourism is Malawi's third largest foreign exchange earner, and the tourism industry contributes significantly to the country's GDP and economic growth. The Malawian government is currently diversifying its economic operations away from agriculture, developing and promoting tourism as one of the primary economic activities because it provides an alternative source of income. This small African country is endowed with stunning natural beauty and has earned a spot on the world's tourism map for a good reason. Malawi is known for its relaxed lifestyle and a variety of unique experiences, ranging from a relaxing stay at one of the many beach resorts to an adventurous safari in nearby wildlife parks, a restorative stroll through the scenic tea gardens, and a swimming adventure in Lake Malawi itself. On the other hand, Zimbabwe's third largest industry, after mining and agriculture, is tourism, and it has the potential to play a key role in the country's economic recovery. Zimbabwe is endowed with both natural and man-made attractions, such as the mighty Victoria Falls, Matopo Hills, Great Zimbabwe monuments, and wildlife at Hwange, Zambezi, Manapos, and Gonarezu national parks, amongst others. Because of its numerous natural and cultural attractions, as well as its pleasing climate all year round, Zimbabwe's tourist business is indeed an excellent choice for investment. It is perhaps the most interesting sector in Zimbabwe because it is the fastest growing source of GDP, with an annual growth rate of 6.1%. Zimbabwe's tourist sector employs approximately 90,000 people and offers a variety of business options. Security. Malawi is recognized as Africa's warm heart, although petty crimes exist in its cities, as it does around the world. The majority of its troubles are minor. Even though petty theft and pickpocketing and hotel or lodge break-ins are common, you are unlikely to have any problems while partaking in guided activities. Residential break-ins are common in Malawi, and the perpetrators of these crimes are usually well armed and willing to use violence when provoked. Since independence, Zimbabwe has been one of the few countries in the Southern African region to maintain peace and stability. The Zimbabwe National Army, the Zimbabwe Air Force, the Zimbabwe Republic Police, and the Central Intelligence Organization are the four primary branches of the Zimbabwe security sector. Although random pickpocketing, smash and grabs, vehicle theft, and scams can occur, crime is not a major issue there. Despite the fact that the majority of crimes in Zimbabwe are non-violent, criminals are frequently armed, often including firearms. Both nations are distinct and exceptional in their own ways, and your choice will be based largely on which factors you find more useful in either country. Looking at Malawi and Zimbabwe, it is clear that they both have poor economies and limited resources, and they are both working hard to improve their economies. That brings us to the end of the video. If you have any suggestions to why you prefer either of these countries over another, feel free to drop them in the comment section and check on that subscription button if you've not yet subscribed. Thanks for watching.